club operations will begin unless and until a permit to operate a private club is issued by the Arkansas Alcoholic Beverage Control Division. Section 3, approval and permit subject to suspension or revocation. That the approval and permit are subject to suspension and/or revocation by the City of Barling in the event that the managing member and/or RWF Enterprises LLC violates any Barling ordinances pertaining to private club permits or state law. Section 4, severability. Should any portion of this ordinance be determined to be unconstitutional or invalid and so declared by a court of competent jurisdiction, the remaining parts and provisions of this ordinance shall remain in place. Section 5, emergency declared to exist. The enactment of this ordinance would ensure for the immediate development of commerce and growth in the furtherance of the health, safety, and welfare of the public, so that an emergency is hereby declared to exist, and this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage. Passed and approved this 14th day of November 2023. Greg Murray, Mayor. Florine Brown, City Clerk.
All right, any discussion? Can I get a motion to vote to suspend the rules requiring that it be read 3 separate occasions?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Aaron Rowe,
Yes.
John Manus.
Yes.
James Davis.
Yes.
Savannah Robinson.
Yes.
Ken Coley.
Yes.
Bill Young.
Yes.
Ron Sharon.
Yes.
Motion to approve the ordinance.
I'll make that motion to approve ordinance 503.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Aaron Rowe,
Yes.
John Manus.
Yes.
James Davis.
Yes.
Savannah Robinson.
Yes.
Ken Coley.
Yes.
Bill Young.
Yes.
Ron Sharon.
Yes.
How about a motion to adopt the emergency clause?
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion?
Second.
Do I have a second? Second by Aaron. Roll call vote for that one?
Aaron Rowe.
Yes.
John Manus.
Yes.
James Davis.
Yes.
Savannah Robinson.
Yes.
Ken Coley.
Yes.
Bill Young.
Yes.
Ron Sharon.
Yes.
All right. RWF Enterprises, welcome to Barling.
Thank you.
That didn't take very long now, did it?
You wanna wait and I'll give you a copy at the end of the meeting?
All right. Part B, consideration of ordinance 504 to repeal and replace ordinance 468 and fixing compensation of municipal officials. Steve, you wanna tell us what's changing on that?
Okay, well, for the first time, there is a proposal in this ordinance to pay a nominal fee to the members of the Planning Commission. Our planning commissions have served for years without any pay, and it's always been a stepping stone to being on the board. And for the, you have to remember that the Planning Commission only meets at the call the first Monday of any month if we have an activity that requires it. Otherwise, there's no expense there. And we have a long track record of probably 50% of the time, we don't have to have a Planning Commission meeting. There's simply nothing happening. I will.
But it's still there if they do,
It's
though.
still there if you do.
So, I think
Ordinance number 504.
So, like Steve said,
How many times do we meet this year? Just guess.
about
5 times?
5 or 6, yeah. So, you know, the proposal's to change them to where they're paid for $100 for that one meeting. So if we don't have 6 of those meetings, that's $600 for the year that they get for showing up. The other one was the, let's talk about Board of Directors. How much are they making currently?
100.
Huh?
100 a meeting.
100 a meeting, so the proposal is for, to give you guys a $100 raise to where it's $200 a meeting.
It's too high.
It can be changed to any number and still voted on if you guys want, if you guys wish. That was just what was requested by a board member, and that's what we did.
So, this is up to you guys. Do you guys wanna up your pay by $100, or do you wanna up it by less than that?
Seems like everybody needs to agree on it.
I
If
think-
it's too high, Ken, what you got in mind?
I think if we get any
50.
kind of pay raise, it'll be $25. I mean, what I do is part out of service of living in my community, and,
Absolutely.
you know, I think $125, I don't think any more than that. Give it to somebody else.
I'd agree with that.
I agree.
I'd like to also.
Yeah, but you know what I do with my money?
Buy beer baiting bullets.
No. I give it to somebody that don't have Christmas.
On the, here with the planning commission, I'd like to see if y'all just think about moving that down to $50, since there's no, actual
$50 set, yeah.
out, put out to,
Right.
you know, to get on it. So you also, it's
Right.
appointed,
Right. That's, I like that idea. Move it down to 50.
Just somebody that
still
knows.
pays for your dinner
Yep.
when you had to come out here.
Yep. Pays for the dinner.
Hey, it's whatever, you know. We just got it on, we got it up there for everybody to talk about, you know,
Yeah.
and, yeah. That's up to y'all.
Thinking 50 on both of them.
50's a
on
good
both.
nominate.
You're talking about,
50 on the,
50 on planning commission and
$50 on the
$50
board of
raise.
directors.
50 raise on the board?
Sure.
Is that what you're talking about, 50 board, on the board, that make it 150 a meeting,
And just 50 on the planning commission.
and 50 on the planning?
That cuts them in, down.
Make a note here. I'm scribbling here.
First line, section 1.
Does that sound good to everybody? 50 for both?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay, that means that the directors will have $300 a month or $3,600 a year if they make all the meetings, 12 times 150.
Right.
And then the $50, and if you made
The most it's gonna be, at the most, is $600 a year if they do. isn't
six,
it?
12 be 600.
That'd be the most it would be.
Be the most, yeah.
Yeah. So, and if y'all are saying they're only
Well,
meeting
y'all
like,
pick
4 or 5 times, then.
Let me, okay, let me read this and
Well, Matt, would you mind, do you guys wanna place it on the first reading, or you wanna do the 3 readings on this ordinance?
One reading, we get,
Huh?
one reading. I don't-
One reading, okay, so I got a motion for the first reading. We have a second.
I'll second it.
I got a motion and a second to place it on its first reading. Roll call vote?
Aaron Rowe,
Yes.
John Manus.
Yes.
James Davis.
Yes.
Savannah Robinson.
Yes.
Ken Collie.
Yes.
Bill Young.
Yes.
Ron Sharon.
Yes.
If you would. So
I'm
the-
just, I'm noting the changes so
Yeah.
that when it's read
Right.
correct.
So it's 50 for the planning,
So that's 250.
and then 150 for the board of directors.
All right, hold on. That's for the mayor. So Mayor, you're going to 300.
No, no,
We're
no,
staying the
Nothing
same.
on
no,
there.
we're staying the same on that.
Directors and
Trust me,
president.
I don't need a raise. I don't want a raise.
150, 250, and then the planning commission is going to 50. fasten your seatbelts. Ordinance number 504, ordinance number 504 to repeal and replace ordinance 468 and fixing compensation of municipal officials in the city of Barling, Arkansas, be it ordained and enacted, section 1. Pursuant to Amendment 56, Section 4 of the Arkansas Constitution, the city of Barling fixes the compensation of members of the Board of Directors at $150 per regular meeting actually attended. Section 2, pursuant to Amendment 56, Section 4 of the Arkansas Constitution, the city of Barling fixes the compensation of mayor at $7,500 per year and retirement pay of $250 per month, and the payment of premiums for health insurance provided to all employees of the city of Barling. Section 3, after the conclusion of their current terms of office, the mayor and all directors will be entitled to apply for health insurance with the premiums to be paid by the mayor or director. Section 4, pursuant to Amendment 56, Section 4 of the Arkansas Constitution, the city of Barling fixes the compensation of members of the Planning Commission at $50 per regular meeting actually attended. Section 5, the compensation of officers is important to the ongoing conduct of the business of the city such that an emergency is declared to exist, and this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage. Passed and approved this 14th day of November 2023, signed by Greg Murray, Mayor, attested to by Florine Brown, City Clerk.
All right, any more discussion on that? A motion to vote to suspend the rules requiring that it be read in 3 separate occasions.
I'll make a motion that we suspend the rules to ordinance 504.
All right, got a motion? Do I have a-
Second.
Got a second, roll call vote.
Aaron Rowe,
Yes.
John Manus.
Yes.
James Davis.
Yes.
Savannah Robinson.
Yes.
Ken Collie.
Yes.
Bill Young.
Yes.
Ron Sharon.
Yes.
And would anybody like to make a motion to approve the ordinance?
Make a motion to approve?
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second, roll call vote.
Aaron Rowe,
Yes.
John Manus.
Yes.
James Davis.
Yeah.
Savannah Robinson.
Yes.
Ken Collie.
Yes.
Bill Young.
Yes.
Ron Sharon.
Yes.
All right, and how about a motion to vote to adopt the emergency clause?
Make a motion, we use the emergency clause motion to adopt ordinance 504.
Got a motion? And a second, roll call vote.
Aaron Rowe,
Yes.
John Manus.
Yep.
James Davis.
Yes.
Savannah Robinson.
Yes.
Ken Collie.
Yes.
Bill Young.
Yes.
Ron Sharon.
Yes.
That passes. That'll help out with a little bit of gas money for everybody. New business, discussion of capital requests.
In front of you is a paper that looks like this. And it says on the top, general fund, unobligated budget, that should be balanced. This is the unobligated balance that we have. This does not count like expenditures for the rest of the year and everything. They're not included in this. This is a balance that we have that just sits in our general fund. And that's what we should always be purchasing our capital from, is that balance. We shouldn't be using our operating money for that. So that shows this, and these are the requests. We're requesting chairs, new chairs for the boardroom, because these, you can see black specks in the floor, they're literally falling apart. Design of new fire station, we're gonna get that started next year. And then the police department is requesting a Dodge Durango, the upfit for that. A used 20-foot container, and what that is that's for their, evidence, thank you. They're gonna explain more about that. Generator for the station, because the station does not have a generator, so when that power goes down, that's not a good thing. And then new slides for the playground at the park, there's 2. That $15,000, that is a very, very high estimate, but once we put money in capital, we can't take it out for any other purpose. And hopefully, before the end of the budget cycle, we'll have that number down before you guys approve in 2 weeks. I don't know if y'all wanna go ahead and discuss the general fund request with the.
In the Parks and
department heads.
Recreation deal, we talked about a canopy, another canopy, or what is?
That, go ahead.
Okay, I've got a price to match the existing one out there. It's about $15,500. It's all bolt, no welding. I've got to buy, and Alex and Matt have to give me the bolt sizes, but you have to buy the anchor bolt sizes, and we've got a hold of a fella about putting down the concrete and doing the concrete pad and then bolting it up ourselves. And it can, it looks like probably 25 will be the most. And that would be out of the discretionary fund, what you asked for.
The director's.
Director's discretionary fund.
And that could be coming out of this year's budget. I'll go ahead and I'll add it in, of course, but it could be that we're going to be paying for the bulk of that out of this year's budget. We'll be doing an adjustment. So I don't know if you guys wanna ask the department heads your questions on this one or go on to the next one and then ask at the end. That's up to y'all.
Where are the slides gonna be put at?
They will be replacing the current slides. So the current slides are cracked, which they're about 10 years old, so that's a pretty good life span, especially because they were in direct sunlight. They're not now, so these may even last longer. But they're expensive. Yeah, everything's expensive. So,
Are we still looking at bathrooms for the park? Additional sorry.
That'll be the next after we get the pavilion.
so you're looking at 2025.
Please run some better electricity to the pavilion.
We've got the conduit out there.
Cause I remember when we did the National Night Out, you couldn't run hardly anything on it.
We can look at all of those things, and of course, that's stuff that we can add to capital in the next year as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be right this second, we can get prices and work on anything I want. Any other questions about the general fund?
I was gonna ask Brian, after this Dodge Durango, are you gonna need another car next year?
This will be next year's, right?
Yeah, this will be
I mean, for the next, for the following year
25.
after that.
It's hard to say. I mean, we should be in pretty good shape. We've got a lot of old Chargers that's causing me a lot of maintenance, but, we should be in pretty good shape with this one.
We're trying to get them on a routine of,
The year.
right, something, every other year, maybe two, but at some point, one thing I learned at the county, the officers are always needing new vehicles. Of course, there was a lot more there. They bought 6, I think they're up to 8 a year, so.
Are the Durangos, suiting your needs?
They're doing good. We've noticed the V6s really don't have the torque. That's why we requested a V8 with this one. But yeah, they're, all in all, they're doing well.
Where's the 20-foot container gonna go, and are we gonna have cameras put on it, looking at it? The container, where's it gonna be put, and are we gonna have cameras pointed at it?
Yeah, we'll have cameras on it. It'll be on the east end, and it's mainly for evidence that I'm getting destruction orders on. It's not anything that's critical to cases or anything like that, but now we're out of room, literally.
So you find a stolen bicycle and stuff like that, you put it in there?
We have room for nothing. We're just stacking stuff on
In your
top of it.
backyard. If you could get it in the backyard, it would be a miracle.
Okay, so the next page is water and sewer, and, they're requesting a chopper pump installation. They're expensive, they're my expensive group. A chopper pump installation at $275,000, and Cameo trailer park sewer, it's actually $950,000. We can only afford to do part of that this year, so we're putting $475,000 in. As you can see, that's gonna take us down. Matt can explain the need more than I can, cause I don't even know what it is, so.
Abbey 82 is coming down Cameo, and this section is causing us problems because of the flow. We need to increase the size of it.
Yeah, it's never fun taking a fund balance down that far, but that is what it's for. And we can also probably talk about some depreciation, but there's not a lot of money in there. So, and Street is requesting a Bobcat for $80,000 and a zero-turn mower for $17,000. Street improvements, I didn't give you a balance on, cause that should always be used. It's a little over $1 million right now, but sidewalk, $750,000. It didn't get approved this year, so we're putting it in for next year just in case.
Grants here.
Matt, on your skid steer, you mentioned Bobcat. Have you priced other ones, or what's your?
We had a couple of prices, and this is the cheapest of the two.
Okay, I've been pricing them too, so I'd like to sit down with you or something like that, just to see what your prices were versus mine.
And keep in mind, this is not final quotes and all of that. This is just getting us to where we can put a number in the budget. So I'm with you. Let's save money.
What did you say about the sidewalk wasn't approved?
It wasn't, it's the grant, so the
I thought we
sidewalk-
already got that.
We got
We
it,
did.
but the numbers came back way more than they could spend, so they. Right.
Oh,
Yeah, Steve can tell you more about that, but, so the grant is approved, but then the numbers came back more than they were willing to spend, and we went back to the drawing board. And we didn't, Steve did.
so sidewalks are like,
They're right now, EDM is working on the sets of drawings and the things they wanted corrected from the highway department. As soon as they get it done, we'll have to go out to bid because of the price, and it has to be advertised in a newspaper of statewide circulation to incur the maximum benefit to the taxpayers.
Absolutely. So we're just gonna plug it back in this year and hope for the best, which we should always have, money in street improvements budgeted for street improvements. So,
I guess my next question is, can we afford any and all this?
yes, yes, we can afford it within the fund balance. Now, this doesn't come out of the budget, it doesn't come out of next year's revenues, but I wanted to say, our general fund unobligated balance, whenever I first started, was $1.2 million. We are now at 2.184. The city is doing well. Our finances are definitely in the right direction. So yes, I stand before you saying we can afford all of this. The water is a lot more, I don't wanna see the balance go down to $250,000, but we'll also be fine. That will build back up quickly.
Curious on the 2,184,000, how much of that is from our building permits?
For this year,
See how much we got.
our building permits this year were 245,000. Yeah, that's a lot. Last year, they were at like 133, so, yeah.
And as board of directors, I think we could earmark that for maybe our new fire station or something like that.
That's what we're looking at.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. If y'all wanna make a motion, I mean, if you wanna, I'll earmark that fire station, that's not a problem. The fire station's gonna be built regardless, it has to be. Tommy can't stay where
Do
he's
you have
at,
any
so.
plans or anything we can look at, Steve?
Just the preliminaries, but then we finally got something that counted the fire trucks here.
All that?
Okay, and for those of you that have never worked on a piece of equipment, and he and I had experience with the refueling vehicles, you wanna make sure that the fire station bay that you have for that truck will let you work on it out of the weather. Okay, and we waited till we had dimensions, and Tommy's looking at the book to make sure if you can if you have to pull a rear axle on one of those rascals to do it, you need to have room to slide it and get it out. And the Air Force didn't do that one.
so what are the plans for that building once it's vacated?
It's gonna go back to Public Works, where it should have been forever. We
But-
gave up when the firemen came in from Fort Chaffee, and our firemen came in, we gave up now 3 bays to the fire department for out in the big truck barn. And we had vehicles parked outside until we finally got the equipment shed. But we gave up space so that the fire vehicles, which you can steal stuff off of if they're outside unprotected, could be inside.
I'm talking about the rock building.
Oh, the rock building? We could sell the rocks at 10 cents a rock and have enough for a pool. Actually, I will tell you this, you need to know what Joe and the police department have had. They have cleaned everything except any of the asbestos-containing materials out of there. The work release program, the people that owe community service, have filled up dumpsters. Joe's been over there with those guys, and Brian got them, quote, paroled over to work, and we're not having to pay them, and they got it stripped out. They lacked a little dab in the basement, but they found all the random pieces of paper that we might or might not have needed, and it's in a tub over there, so we can, whoever is the successor can go through it and find out if it's a missing receipt or a missing invoice.
A Coptrax contract,
We looked for that. Okay?
just wondered.
I knew you were gonna ask, so I said, they have been looking for it as they sifted through the debris. What'll be left over there is two things that'll cost us, and this is money that comes out of the general fund. One is you have to have the asbestos removal done before you touch it. I've been through that 2 or 3 times in my own career, and so you don't wanna get there. When you get that done, you've got to do the wood removal, and this is all straight, real wood. I mean, it's not dimension lumber like you get now. If it's a 2x4, it's a 2x4. We don't know if it's rotted or not. Some may be, you don't know. And then, once you get the wood stripped out of it, then you're down to the rocks. And you've heard me say that I thought that'd be a perfect swimming pool that held water real good in the basement. All we had to do is put a pump and a filter in, and we could take the rocks down to the top of the concrete, and you'd have a pool. Then the question came up, well, who's gonna be the lifeguards? And I thought the firemen would, but they're gonna be over here, not over there. But anyhow, it's a complicated thing getting rid of one of them, and it doesn't happen overnight. And the fact that it was abandoned en route is something else. And then we have to get something built for Tommy to land too. Either that or he's gonna be in a tent all winter out here. But this is something that's gotta happen. And when you're down to the rock business, that's when I made the comment that everybody that lived in town and went to school might want a rock, and we could sell them a rock for $1 a rock or $10 a rock or whatever, and put the money in the kitty.
Yep,
What do you think?
I gotta work. I say we come a long way from the old block building across the street. Y'all do know that used to be the fire station.
Yes. Yeah. It's the only fire station I know of that had a fire truck that couldn't get out because there was a fire in front of it.
Yeah, I remember that. Flames shooting 20 foot in the air.
So, just to make sure I understand right, it's basically tear it down,
Yeah.
right? So then where would the new fire go? Here?
Yeah.
Yeah, right here. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, so the bays and everything, where you pay your water payment and all that, it's gonna be all out in there.
Would the fire trucks
Fire
go in those
truck and all.
bays?
No, they're gonna have, the fire truck bays will be on beyond. The
Yeah.
office space will be in the 2 outer bays there, plus whatever you need.
Yeah, so that would be office space there, and then beside that would be where your fire truck and
So-
equipment would go.
So you mean like in the parking lot, not in the grass?
In a parking lot.
Yeah.
There's reasons for it. Number one is rock out there, and the foundation will be real easy to get. You get down behind down here, it's not rock, okay?
So
So-
the grass out here
Grass.
would probably become parking.
The overflow parking. We only have court 2 days a month. We put down a gravel lot and be done with it. Either that or Aaron can rent out parking over there.
I'll give it away. I can blame all the destruction on somebody else.
I can see this is going.
All right, any more discussion on the capital requests?
I'd like to make a motion though.
Yeah.
Our annual 3-day pay for all full-time employees. We do that every year.
Okay.
Second that motion.
Got a motion for the 3-day pay for all
Full-time employees.
full-time employees, and we have a second. Any discussion?
Do we have any part-time employees?
But they're not included in that bill.
And what days
Do we have
is
part-time
that?
employees?
Christmas, Thanksgiving, and New Year's?
You know, if you're gonna pay full-time employees, it's kinda like that planning commission thing, you know? think you can afford to pay them something.
I think if they've been here a year or longer.
Yeah.
They ought to partake in that as well.
Absolutely.
So do we wanna include the part-times who've
If
been here?
they've been here a year.
How many
Been here a
part-time
year.
employees do we have?
That's a hard answer. So, some of our part-time employees work literally 1 day a year, so I need clarification. Tommy has, how many do you have that work consistently, Tommy? You would be the only department.
Break it down and let us know. So we got an idea.
You have Todd Atkins,
I've probably got maybe 4 that work consistently.
so I would say if we wanted to include part-time, those would be the 4 we need to include. The part-time for the police, they work maybe events or something like that. They do not work consistently. That would be my recommendation to the board.
I think the 4 guys on the part-time, fire department ought to be included, you know, I mean, other than that,
And would you want a set amount for them, or would you want them to get a 3-day?
Tommy, how many times do those guys work? Do they work 20 times a year or 40 times or?
but they're still here though.
They, they cover sick and vacation and like right now, we're in between firefighters. We've got a new guy fixing to start, but they cover that in-between time.
They ought to be entitled to a 3-day. They're covering for all these folks and everything.
I agree with that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so since we have a motion and a second, may I suggest that we vote on this as no's so that we can make another motion and include the part-time employees?
One second.
Or
It
we can
was.
just withdraw?
Amend,
Yeah.
can we just amend the, oh,
Can we amend it,
Yeah, you
or
do
do we, okay, so we're gonna amend it, okay. So the motion is to.
Include all.
Include all employees, right?
Yeah.
Part-time and full-time for the 3-day pay. All right, does that sound right, Ron?
Be fine with me.
All full-time and part-time employees for the 3-day pay.
regularly,
Right. Yes.
We have a lot on our part-time.
like regularly scheduled.
Well, I mean, folks that are here that are regular, you know.
Do we need to define regular?
You
I would
can.
make it as specific as you can. I mean, if you've got part-timers.
Part-time?
that Work
Are they classified as part-time?
in a year and a half.
If it's just the fire department, can we specify it's not just the fire
If they've
department?
worked here more than a
20.
year, does that sound about right for everybody?
If you get to the fire
That's a fair
business, you
assumption.
Okay.
get
So if they've worked here for a year for part-timers and the full-timers will.
Is that gonna cover you for is a year gonna cover those 4 guys that we're talking about?
I think it's not really the time they've been here, because I have some that have been
Yeah.
here for years, they don't work.
Right.
Maybe let's say 10 or 15 shifts, I mean, 8 shifts, whatever.
Yeah,
amount
a
of
certain
shifts.
amount of hours a year,
Okay.
I think would be a way to do this.
Yeah.
And then we can figure that very quickly tomorrow.
There's a deal that said it used to, if the part-timers had less than 32 hours a week, I believe it was. And if it's,
Fire's a little different, they have different laws, because they work 24-hour shifts, everything's different for them, but.
well, that's a.
Check
At
into
least
it, see
amount
what
of
you can do.
hours a year
I
for
mean, I have a definition
the
of part-time,
part-timer.
I just wanna make sure you want it to be what it's
Estimate?
worth. I mean, I don't care if
It's
it's
an
5 shifts, but I do
80%,
have some
the
guys that
32
do-
hours.
We just wanna make sure those folks get
80%.
hooked up over in the fire department. Other than that, we're good.
You talking about the least?
Yeah.
That'd be hard to say, cause like I said, some of them are very sporadic and some of them
Here.
take up the bulk of my shifts.
Would we be safe at saying if they work more than 250 hours?
At the end of the day anyway. I mean, we got a couple of part-time.
That'd be kinda high, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be a little over 10 shifts.
What
whole
time
year.
frame are we talking?
A year, on
A
a
year?
For the year, yeah.
Tommy, what do you think? What shifts or time frame you thinking for cover your 4 guys? Because we all get in spot where we need someone to sub for us, and
Right.
it's a little extra, thank you.
It's based on their pay, and they don't draw the same pay as regular people anyway, do they?
No, they're paid the
See,
minimum.
See, this is based on 3 days' pay.
Yeah.
That will get less in this.
Ours is a little more complicated. We have like
Include 'em
3
all.
part-time and the rest are reserve or standards consider them auxiliary, but we have 3 part-time. So they're pretty consistent, so.
Just wanna do everybody?
I think so. I don't think it's gonna make any difference.
3 days pay isn't gonna
Yeah.
cripple us.
I don't have any paid PD consistent part-time. Like,
Paul Clifford?
I mean, for a little while, but I mean, he hasn't worked a long time. He would be my only one that I would think.
He's
I have that
our
would be-
instructor.
Yeah, that would be the only one.
The other 2 would be, we've got a probation and parole that is in pretty regular, doesn't necessarily mean we pay him, but, and
Yeah,
then,
but they don't work
Becker.
for us.
Yeah, I mean, that we have classified as part-time.
Can we leave it up to the judgment of our city administrator? As far as we wanna pay part-time,
Well, how about department heads present to Steve, the people that, are the part-timers and, I mean, that's what we're looking at, a handful of folks, isn't it?
Yeah, just a handful.
Yeah.
I would not just leave it like that, Ken. My advice would not be just at the discretion of someone. I think y'all need to figure out who needs to get it, who doesn't, and make sure they've worked in 2023. That would get rid of people that haven't worked for a year and a half.
But
or
wouldn't
2
your
years,
department heads be the one
that
that?
are still considered part-time employees on our roster, but if they hadn't worked at all in 2023, I don't think that's the kind of person that you're targeting
Right.
for a Christmas, whatever you wanna call it. I hesitate
Pay
to use
adjustment.
the B word.
Can we call it a regular part-time employee? And that would be defined as somebody that worked X amount of hours in a year's time?
Yeah, I mean, I would just, I would narrow it down to someone that has, booked hours in 2023 or has worked a minimum of X number of hours in 2023. That'll get you, that'll weed out the people that, are the outliers that have worked maybe a day in 2023. I don't think
Say
that's
40
who you're
hours.
talking about.
500 hours total.
Huh?
I like that.
40 hours, if you
40
work
hours.
40, okay, so part-time employees who work 40 hours for 2023 will be
If
entitled?
you've worked 40 hours or more in 2023,
Yep.
you're entitled to it. That's a good cutoff right there.
Let's just do that, that sounds fair, doesn't it?
Make that motion, Ron.
I'll make that motion.
All
That
right, so we've got the
kicks it.
motion for the 3-day pay for all full-time and part-time employees who work
40 hours.
more than 40 hours or more
In 2023.
in 2023.
I second that motion.
I've got a second on that motion. How about we do a roll call vote?
Aaron Rowe,
Yes.
John Manus.
Yes.
James Davis.
Yes.
Savannah Robinson.
Yes.
Ken Collie.
Yes.
Bill Young.
Yes.
Ron Sharon.
Yes.
All right, motion is approved. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Happy Thanksgiving to all those employees.
Stay sober to sunset.
All right, so on to discussion of Board of Director meeting dates for December 2023. I believe those dates are, let me get my
12th and 19th.
the 12th and the 19th for our 2 board meetings for that month.
12th and 19th.
Does anybody have anything else? Discussion on that, if they're okay?
Make a motion that we hold our December board meetings the 12th and the 19th of December.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Aaron Rowe,
Yes, ma'am.
John Manus.
Yes.
James Davis.
Yes.
Savannah Robinson.
Yes.
Ken Collie.
Yes.
Bill Young.
Yes.
Ron Sharon.
Yes.
Financial report. You're the star today.
It's not very often, it's only at the end of the year, I promise. Everything's looking, it's looking good. We're on track with everything. My only thing is our property taxes are not enough. I keep calling, I've called, they're sick of hearing from me. They don't know how to answer my question. We did get our October, property taxes are due in October. They're not reflected on this because this is just through September, since we haven't reconciled October yet. And I don't give y'all unreconciled numbers. So I did get our property taxes for October but they were right at the same as last year. It doesn't make sense. We do everything that we're supposed to do. We communicate with the county assessor's office every time we have a building, because the only time in between the appraisal years, you get extra money for is new stuff. So we communicate every time we have a new building go up. The assessors are told about it. Our amounts have went up. I made them send us our amounts. They have went up, but for whatever reason, our property taxes are staying stagnant, and I do not understand. Yeah, they should be. I mean, our property values are up over, I think it's like $2.5 million. There's no reason why we're stagnant, even though we're in the middle of our appraisal year, which next year is an appraisal year. They'll appraise and they'll go up. But I want to know why they're stagnant now. So I'll be working on that. I've reached out to the municipal league to find out if there's anything that we can do to ask for a reconciliation or something from the county collector. There is nothing. So I will continue to work on it and work with her. She's very nice. She's doing everything she can to explain it to me so that I can understand. But there is a reason why we haven't gone up. I've also been told by the treasurer's office that I am not the only entity. I'm the only city complaining, but I'm not the only entity complaining. The schools are also saying, why is this not higher than it is? So,
Are they just waiting to pay them, or is it?
No.
Or no, just not seeing the increase.
It's been weird from the very beginning. So in April, I believe it's April, is when, you know how if you own your home, you're paying for it, it goes to escrow. April is when all escrows pay for property taxes. I think it's April. And this year, it was less than what it was last year. It didn't make sense. I was told, well, people aren't paying their property taxes, but that is escrow. Escrow is paying property taxes, right. I mean, we haven't had a lot of foreclosed homes, have we? I don't understand. So I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. It's just, I am working with a new treasurer collector. She is brand new, and she is learning, and I'm probably helping her. So I'm trying to work with her just to figure out why we're stagnant. We shouldn't be. And so that has been a great cause of my time. That's been a loss of time for me. But other than that, sales tax is looking amazing, as we know. I was a little disappointed this last time because it wasn't over $100,000 like it was before, but it still was one of the higher ones that we've had since I've been here. Expenses are okay. We're on track with them. All departments are doing well, which, I mean, government does well on inflation. It's unfortunate. People don't. Government does. It just is what it is.
Wait a second. What did you say about the sales tax?
The
What was it now compared to 6 months ago?
Now compared to, it was 125,000 a couple months ago, and the highest we usually got was about 50,000. This last month it was right at, I think it was 80,000. So, I mean, we're up there, but we're up there, we know why. We're up there because of the new Project Venus. They're ordering stuff in. When you order stuff and it comes to the city, I guess that is time. It is at Christmas time, isn't it? When you order stuff and it comes to the city, we get the sales tax, no matter where you order it from. So please, all your Christmas shopping, have it delivered here. I'm gonna have mine delivered right here to work so that we can get those tax dollars.
I understand that.
Might as well go to us, right?
I have a question concerning
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So if you order something from Walmart to be delivered to your house, the sales tax is Barling's and not Fort Smith's?
That is correct.
Yes.
Yeah, so get that Walmart Plus
Everywhere.
and get that stuff delivered here.
We deliver furniture is where we gotta charge the sales tax too.
That's correct.
Where they're being taken to.
Yeah. Hard on the business owner, but great for the cities. Yeah. Any other questions?
Mountain Bird's 11.
Van Buren's is high too. I
Yeah.
shouldn't say that. Okay, thank you guys.
Alrighty. City administrator report.
It's gonna be pretty quick. The sidewalk is down, being gnashed and hashed. I have here for you that are interested, what we found for the entry to the court, where the bailiffs are here. It's a metal detector. It can be bought out of money on hand, and we've got enough money to buy it. And, $4,500.
Okay.
If you get out of line, it'll give you a jolt and a shock. The other thing is, I had Matt and I have greetings from ADEQ again. This is for the stormwater permit renewal, which is every 5 years. So we'll have all kinds of fun for the next 2 months. They start out, even though it's not due till June the 1st of 2024, they've got a 7-month head start on us for us to start working on it. And it is a long process if you're not, hadn't done it before. The other thing, I got a miraculous letter from the mayor handed to me. They sent it to him. The traffic signal down there at what's now the main gate at Chaffee, the First Avenue gate, was put in at the insistence of the Army some years back, and the county judge has paid for the operation of it and seen it to be repaired and maintained. So I got a letter from the county administrator handed to me, and I've got a call into them because first off, we didn't need the light, or it wouldn't even be there. Second, for those of you that travel 22 highway, you know that the light may or may not be functioning, and it went berserk several times in the last week. And when you get a call in the middle of the night and you wake up and the light's on, I'm not gonna run out here, and what I ought to do is jerk the thing down. And so that's what I'm saying is, I'm gonna tell them that unless you all see a crying need to have the First Avenue traffic signal, I don't see any point in having it.
Can we take it and move it somewhere to a different intersection?
No, you can't take it and move it, but I'd like to take it somewhere. The other is, the Jaeger site is underway, and the parking up there is going to be pretty much of a big project. If you've not seen the stakes and the batter boards and the layout up there, go by real slow when there's no traffic, and maybe that'll be, and take a look in daylight at how big that store's gonna be. For those of you that have never seen it, there's about 22,000 square feet in the main hardware, about 2,000 square feet in the garden center, and probably about 7,500 to 8,000 for the lumberyard side. And it's gonna have indoor and outdoor storage. The other thing is for y'all that don't know, the grade school kids now are picked up by the bus over here, and the bus route goes down 8th Street. They don't come down and go through the crossing. Don't need the lights over there anymore. Okay, up there by the driveway at Jaeger's, I don't know of any kids that come down and go through at school time anyhow. In the morning, I never see them. I don't see them in the evening. The bus takes them back and dumps them out as it goes the route. We had a request that came in from the college out here to put another set of crossing in on Chad Colley, down at the lower end, at the far end of the Barling city limits. Well, we can take those signals up there, and they can be transplanted to keep them from picking off a doctor out there, or a future doctor. Anyhow, that's probably the best solution to them, because if we don't need those signals down there, since nobody uses it, and they're ours, we paid for them, let us go ahead. The other thing you have to remember is, as soon as they ever get through with 255, that truck route relocation, they're gonna turn over to us Strozier Lane and Church Street. And so there'll be the housing pattern will change some, we know. But that's a good place to use it, because there are more houses being built on that end of town, and there'll be kids coming down to get across Strozier Lane to get down to the school.
That's why they won't put no stoplight up there now, right? Cause it, waiting on the.
Waiting on, right.
There are so many people who live in my neighborhood and Glacier Bay who would walk to school if it was safe to do so. But right now, even in a car, it's questionably safe as it is.
Taking your life in your hands.
Yeah. Even if we could build like a bridge over something.
Yeah.
But the point is that there is between these two surprising letters that showed up, I felt like that you all ought to know ahead of time what's possible and what could happen.
I sent an email to the Fort Smith School Board this afternoon and asked them what their decision was on the school busing that they discussed earlier in the year. And Dalton Person texted me back and said that they haven't done anything, but the secretary forwarded my email to the assistant superintendent, and he's supposed to be responding. So far, they haven't made a decision on if they're gonna bus the students to Southside or Northside or anything right yet. But we're talking about probably on those students, about 50 students total. If they were to change bus routes, they'd be going to Southside, so.
You talking about the gentleman that said Portsmouth will flatline in the next 10 years?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That would, yeah.
I think they've withdrawn their recommendation.
too.
They got a little bit of heat from it,
Yeah.
you know.
They kinda tabled that little situation.
I mean, you really look at it, the majority, it was like 50-50 from Barling, but when you really drill down on it, more people were going to Southside regardless. The only people we were really concerned about was about 50.
Well,
On
my
the
sentiment
bus.
sort of gives us an option.
Yeah.
If you wanna go to Southside, you go to Southside. You wanna go Northside, go to Northside.
Yep.
But don't force anyone to go to one school.
Right.
I think we're happy with where we are.
All righty. Any other announcements or anything?
It's my annual time to suggest that we look at the possibility of maybe doing some sort of strategic plan for the city. I know there was something done a long time ago, but I think that we just need to be prepared to brace for the growth in the future with all these new projects coming in. And I think if we all had a few common goals we were working toward, we might be able to have more impact on our community.
Such as.
You're talking about like a 5-year plan?
Yeah, like a
10-year
five
plan?
5 to 10 year plan
That's a great
with some
idea.
goals
Every business
set out.
does that.
Yep.
And that way I feel like departments too, when they're planning long term, can think about like capital interest and the big stuff, the really big stuff, because I think our income as a city per capita, I could be wrong about this, but I'm assuming it's going up and people are getting more choices to live. And as the city of Fort Smith folks kind of drag out into Barling, Lavaca, Central City, we're seeing more and more different types of people in this area. And I think we are uniquely poised to cater to that and make people want to live here and be involved in the community. But I think that takes a lot of planning.
Isn't,
Taking her CPA, I'm her instructor, so
taking the
for
internship.
her class, she does have to build a 5 or 10 year plan, and I have her working on that. And any ideas that you all have, she would be glad to
Oh,
add
yeah.
in and present to that.
Any documentation
Isn't
on
that a-
population growth would be great, cause that's gonna help me.
And I think also like for staff needs, I think that as the world evolves, staff needs change and evolve too. So like even if
Or we are going to have to make staff additions. We are gonna have to.
yeah, and roles shift. I'm not saying having less in some and more in others, but there's just shifting that takes place, and
Oh, yeah, there's
we
no
can
way
do
the city's
more.
growing, and they don't need help, especially
Those two departments
these
right
two
there.
right there. I think
Yeah.
They're
Fire and police.
doing all they can to make it one more year, but 2024.
And I think when you have a light at the end of the tunnel to know like, okay, the city is on board with like, let's buy these, we have a plan in writing, this is what we're all working toward, and you can always make changes to that plan as things grow, but it just gives you like a path to stay on. I don't know. I'll send my ideas. Okay, thank you.
Population growth that the college has would be great, surely they have some.
I should grade her.
She does.
that sounds good, so I'm on that.
wanna do like a study session on the strategic
Just a little bit.
planning
think-
possibly, first of the year, like the,
Yeah, do you wanna see what you come up with and like maybe the first,
early December, so I'll have it ready by first of January.
okay, can
we
we,
can do it this, we can do a study session a little extra after the 9th meeting if you'd like to do that.
Okay.
You can do that? Okay.
Yeah.
So January 9th meeting, we'll have a, hour-long or so study session after that meeting. How's that sound?
I mean, it could be optional for those who just want to.
Okay.
Not to me, but to others.
All righty. Any other announcements or anything? No? Mr. Ron?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Folks, have a great day.